Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and we're starting our weekly webinar, Trading Prospects, Mapping Out the Week Ahead. I just wanted to apologize for my voice. I'm having a little cold for a few days, so I don't feel my best, but I will try to do my best. So we're starting our webinar. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a Senior Account Manager with AvaTrade, and my overall experience in trading, it's over 23 years. I started in June 2000 as a prop trader on Wall Street, and I've done that for about 11 years. And then I moved to a different way of trading, started to mentor and educate others. And currently, I'm very happy that I have an opportunity to assist our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, as you know, it's pretty much the same every week. We talk about indices, stocks, commodities, Forex. Prior to that, we'll discuss some fundamentals. We take a look at economic calendar and try to make the plan for the week. And as I like to say, quoting someone, I don't really know whose quote that was, but traders like to say, you plan your trade and then you trade your plan. And again, it doesn't guarantee results, but definitely improve your results. As in anything in life, it's important to plan so you have an organized way of doing things. Risk warning, you can find the full statement at avatrade.com. Everything we do here is purely educational. Here are the channels that are very important for you to follow, very useful. You have Telegram, you have X or Twitter, and my favorite, as I like to say, YouTube channel, where you have a lot of tutorials, educational material. Also, the webinar is being posted, so don't be afraid or don't be upset if you can't make the webinar on time. You can find it later at your convenient time at YouTube channel and watch it. So it's good if you subscribe and you click on that bell so you'll be notified when new things are being added. Also, if you are watching this on YouTube, please put the likes, also subscribe, share with your friends, and very important, please write your feedback. Your comments are very important to us. Excuse me. So before going to economic calendar, just we had a strong run on the market on Friday. Looked like the week was a little bit mixed. There was a sell-off at some point, recovery, and then Friday, the second part of the day in U.S. market, we had the rally, and mostly led by tech stocks, semiconductors especially. A lot of excitement in that area, and we finished Friday with super strong results. S&P index rose 1.2%, Dow Jones Industrial rose 1.1%, and Nasdaq rose the most, 1.7%. So it was a very strong grand finale, if you want to call it, for the week. So let's see how we start this week. Will we continue? We also made highs on the indices. We are at all-time highs, I think. And this week brings a lot of data, and definitely market will be affected by that. So let's just take a look at the economic calendar really quick. Now, a few words about the economic calendar. You can find it on our web trader or the app. Also, third-party providers, it comes from the same source. It's public information being released at the times that are indicated here. You could see the times are in GMT. Also, here I filtered only the high impact events, though in red there's more, and you can always filter through things that make sense to you or apply to your trading. So like I said, I take out the high impact events here. So we start on Tuesday. This is very important. This is another chance for Bank of Japan to make that move, as you could see, and I mentioned almost every week. Bank of Japan is the only major central bank that still holds the rates unchanged for a very long time, and they are in a negative area, still minus 0.1%. So the decision comes on Tuesday, and definitely we'll be watching anything that to do with yen, and of course the Japanese index will be affected as well. You have ECB bank lending survey. You have CPI numbers from New Zealand. Wednesday, we have from Germany, manufacturing PMI, service PMI, and also from European Union as well. And UK, also we have a manufacturing PMI and service PMIs. Monetary policy statement and the rate decision from Canada. So definitely we'll be watching the Canadian dollar on Wednesday. We have manufacturing and service PMIs from US, and we have a press conference following that decision on Canada. That's all Wednesday, busy day. Thursday, we have interest rate decision from European Central Bank, the statement and the press conference half an hour later. GDP numbers from US. So as you could see, a lot of data coming in. Another data from Japan. You have consumer price index, that's the inflation. And Friday, we're finishing with the core personal consumption expenditure. This is the number that the Feds are also watching very closely. So these are the things, excuse me, these are the things that we'll be watching this week as far as the announcement from the economic calendar. Okay, so this is the MT4, and we're gonna start looking through. So we'll start with indices. We'll see how they did the past week. China, after breaking through 11,000, we had the last 2 days of the week kind of a recovery. So we could be on the way on retesting this 11,150, just to remind us why that number is important. I'm going to show you in a moment. That is right here, back in October 31st of last year. We bounced from that number, we had a strong move to the upside. So we are about to challenge that number again. So that's 11,150. We'll be seeing how things are. The Japanese index is continuing flying. It's on the way up as the weakness of the yen continues, and as we mentioned, the interest rate decision comes from Bank of Japan. Some say we might see the changes now. Others are focusing on March decision from Bank of Japan. I guess we'll find out. So just to mention, if that decision comes positive for the yen and they will increase the interest rate, we might see a strong move to the upside in the yen and the reaction of the Nikkei of the Japanese index to the downside, similar to what actions of the Feds increasing the interest rate and moving the dollar higher was affecting the markets to the downside. So that's the Nikkei. Now let's take a look at US indices. As we mentioned, had a very strong move on Friday. Dow Jones was the smallest move, even though it's huge, over 1%. And we are challenging this high here. S&P's making all-time high, and NASDAQ as well. Like I said, this Friday move was triggered mostly by semiconductors. And I did a little bit of a research, and Taiwan Semiconductor is the company that supplies most of the chips in the world. They are predicting huge growth. And on the US side, we had NVIDIA moving to the upside and other stocks, AMD, as well. So clearly, we had a strong move, and that prepares us for this upcoming week. Will this move continue? Now, we don't have any levels to set up any kind of resistance. We are in the area now, so we could easily continue, or we might see the correction. We'll find out. Also, the data that's coming out will also affect the markets as well. Germany, it did have a move up, but not as strong as US. Indices were far from the highs. And UK as well, it looks the weakest out of major world indices. So let's see how this week plays for the indices. Now let's move to stocks. Again, I apologize for my voice, a little bit hard for me to speak. So we'll start with Microsoft. Actually, there's some fundamental news on Microsoft. The company reported on Friday that they were targeted by this cyber attack by the Russian hackers, and they say that the hackers got some access to the emails accounts of the senior leaders and employees of the company. The stock reacted after hours on Friday. It was down by 0.3%. So let's see if we have any revelation what actually damage was done or wasn't. So that's on Microsoft in general. Microsoft's making all-time highs, as we mentioned last week. I think it bypassed Apple in the market cap. I guess they're fighting now because Apple also had a nice recovery lately since it moved and retested the 180 area. It looks like we are closing this gap. Just to remind us, Apple was affected a lot by Chinese decision of ban the product, especially the iPhone. But now it looks like it's regaining some momentum here. Also, on Friday, they started the pre-orders for the Vision Pro mixed reality headset, and it's getting ready to be shipped on February 2nd. So we don't know yet. The analysts are not sure the level of the demand. They will know more when the units will start shipping. But the stock is really moving. We had a nice recovery from around 180 to 191, and we are closing this initial gap here. So that's as far as Apple. Netflix, we have it's sitting on this level around 482, and the stock is reporting on the 23rd. I'll announce more earnings when we get there. So that's something that should bring a little bit of a cautious when the market flew to the upside. Netflix hasn't done anything, so it comes to mind maybe we should or might expect some not such pleasant news, or maybe just sitting here waiting for that announcement of good news as far as earnings, and we'll take off. We'll find out. Amazon had a nice move. We're still trying to break these highs over here. Intel Friday moved up with all the semiconductors. Meta super strong, and I think it's retesting all-time highs. Let's see. This was on September 2021, 384.0. What is it? 384.08, and the high here. Okay, we are 20 cents away from the all-time highs on Facebook or Meta. Definitely will be watching that. Teva Pharmaceutical, something that we've been talking about since this recent recovery or move, retesting 11. We're sitting here at around $11, and as I mentioned a few times, we are trying to get out of this channel. We've been sitting for a long time, maybe 4 years plus, and if we are breaking, it just opens the brand new space for it. Okay, so as far as earnings, we have a lot of stocks continuing to report. On Tuesday, we have Verizon, General Electric, Johnson & Johnson, Netflix, and a few others. On Wednesday, we have Tesla, AT&T, and IBM. By the way, let's take a look at Tesla really quick. It's not really rushing to follow the market. As you could see here, we've been sliding lower as the market was going higher, so it doesn't look healthy. In any event, Tesla is reporting on Wednesday. AT&T is reporting on Wednesday as well. The stock, after a nice move to the upside, had a sell-off recently. It was sitting at around $16, $17. Intel is reporting on Thursday. As we mentioned, Intel had a move on Friday here. And of course, other stocks you can research and see what relates to your trading. We are continuing the earnings season reporting for the fourth quarter of last year. So again, just closing the equity session, we had the move up led by technologies, especially semiconductors, and high demand for the chips, and a lot of it to do with AI, of course. Okay, moving to commodities, and we'll start with copper and oil, as China is showing a little bit of recovery, at least for the last 2 days. So copper should do the same. As you could see, yes, it's responding nicely to it. 2 days to the upside on copper. Let's see if we continue higher here. Oil as well, it's showing a little bit of a strength, even though Friday was a sell-off, not a sell-off, but a down day. And we are actually trading above the 50 moving average. Let's see if that holds. Natural gas, disappointed again. The investors, the ones they thought that breaking the 3 would open space for moving higher. We did move higher over here, but this past week we sold, especially the sell-off intensified on Thursday and Friday. We're back at 250 level. And I just made some research, and it says that, I'm quoting here, the gas futures slide to the lowest settlement since the end of December as the market prepares for warmer weather following this week's cold blast across much of the US that lifted heating demand and shut in some gas production. Okay, so as I mentioned a few times, gas or natural gas is super sensitive to the weather, and as I mentioned, that some cold weather might be positive for natural gas, and we did have this reaction, but it looks like the expectation now for the weather to be warm or warmer than expected, so we did come to 250. And in the past, as you could see, 250 was holding here, so maybe this is support, and we'll be watching that price action. If we start building above this 250 and holding above 250, we might see recovery. If not, we might try to break it. Excuse me, please. And if we do break it and start building resistance, we might slide lower here. So natural gas, in this case, weather related, we'll see how it acts this upcoming week. Gold, as you could see here, gold reacted to the upside, holding this 2008, as you could see. We are below the 50 moving average here. Copper, we spoke about, is showing some strength. And palladium, as you could see, if you remember, this was the double bottom here. After that, we had this huge move to the upside, retesting the 1250 area here, and then we had a slow but the intense sliding to the downside. We did break the 950 and went as low as 904 on the 17th. And then we are back to trying to climb above the 950 again. This is crucial. If we manage to break above 950 and start building support, we might see that continuation or another try to move higher. Who knows? We might see another leg to the upside. We might see the averages being tested. We'll find out. So that's as far as commodities. And let's move to Forex. Dollar index is holding around 103. As you could see here, had a nice move to the upside, and that started with the latest comment of the Feds. They're not really in the rush to cut the rates, so that was kind of disappointing. And dollar reacted to the upside, gold reacted to the downside. Now we're sitting here between the 200 and the 50 moving average. Friday was a little bit sliding to the downside. Let's see how this week will play. We have some data, of course, as we mentioned. See how things are working out. Now let's go through the majors really quick. We have pound right in the middle of this channel between 126 and 128. We are trying to climb higher. We're right in the middle here. Euro. As you remember, we mentioned the 110 level being the resistance. It looks like we are trying to fight the 109, trying to climb above that. Euro looks a little bit weak here. Now, yen, as I mentioned to you, the decisions coming this week. As you could see here, 3 consecutive sessions were pretty much flat. And you see this tail showing a little bit of the anxiety of the traders. So we could see that move on the yen. Again, if the decision happens, this pair will probably dive to the downside. Also, as you could see here, the 50 moving average is below the 200, which is dead cross, something that's significant for some technical analysts. So that means that we might see a sell-off. So this week is crucial with that decision of the Bank of Japan, of course. Australian dollar trying to recover, just back above the 200 moving average after the sell-off. New Zealand dollar is flat here after the sell-off. We're holding and waiting for something. And the Swiss franc is showing some weakness against the dollar. It's been since the beginning of the year, been slowly climbing up. Now, Japanese yen, let's take a look at the pairs and potential moves this week with the interest rate decision. As you could see also here, Aussie JPY is also facing resistance here. Canadian JPY looks strong, but we're close to that resistance here. Euro JPY as well, rejecting these levels here. And pound JPY as well. So it looks like the yen is retesting these levels and failing to go lower against those currencies. So again, not trying to predict or guess anything, but we could see that change coming on this week, or at least we might see some clues or some changes in the policy of the Bank of Japan. And CHF JPY, this is the pair we've been talking about it for a very long time, since it made probably the strongest move because Swiss franc's been super strong, as both currencies considered to be safe havens. Take a look, been moving. This move started in August 2019 around here, and moved from 106, 107 to all the way 170. And on the daily chart right here, we had a few breakouts from this level here, mid-November, the high of 169 and a quarter. And every time we come to this current levels around 171, we're diving below that 170.5. So again, we're sitting right on this level, and we continue watching this pair of possible reversal and continuation to the downside. So that's as far as the currencies. And let's take a look at Bitcoin really quick. As you know, all this excitement with the ETFs came out, had a nice opening, but they sold after. And as I mentioned already, it's a normal effect of IPOs, as the insiders or whoever the major holders are booking their profits. So the ETFs open higher, close lower, continued. If you take a history of the stocks when they come, not the ETFs, but the regular stocks when they apply for IPOs, and a lot of times you could see the stock opens higher than the listing price, and then it sells, and then it takes time for it to settle and continue higher. So maybe it's the case, or maybe not. But in any event, the Bitcoin itself is reacting to that. We're back into this channel that was before between 40 and 45,000. We're trading close to 42,000 right in the middle. So let's see how these things develop. Okay, so that's it pretty much. Again, I apologize for not being 100% today. I hope it was still okay. And just to kind of put it all together, we had a super strong week, super strong Friday. Technology is leading. We have a lot of data coming in. And let's see if this move will continue, or maybe this all-time highs on the indices will trigger a correction. We'll find out soon. Also, the data will trigger some gossips or opinions of the Fed's next moves. And I want to wish everyone a great and successful week, and we should be back next week. All the best. Take care.